Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, y'all. So y'all know there's breaking news. There's breaking news, and I'm known to call it audible and switch. So I've been studying. I have been studying about the settlement. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Number one, uh, I think y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay. So I've been studying about the settlement. So we got some breaking news about that. We're supposed to be talking about Shador have motion, but I'm pretty sure I'll be back tonight, and we're gonna push Shador have emotion to the next one because a lot of people want to understand what it means, the settlement. How does it get paid? What does it affect? The implications. Who does it apply to? That's the damages, the settlement itself. Then there's the new NIL rules. There's a new commission, roster limits, this, that, and the other. So I put together some slides to help while I'm explaining. Maybe reading some of the things will also help. So I used USA Today and I used Wikipedia so y'all can try to understand what just took place. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I hope y'all are having a good weekend. It was nice here today and it rained. So we get a lot of rain here lately in Atlanta. I don't know. But the weather was nice. The rain came and went, and now it's over with. Other than that, it's good. Um, just looking forward to some good football. How's everybody? All right, so we'll give everybody like a few more minutes to join us, and we're going to get started. So I announced that we're going to talk about the settlement because that's breaking news. It's been a fight for a long year since NIL came on board, and a little bit before there were three lawsuits. Um, there were three lawsuits involved in this, and the judge approved it late Friday night. Now, typically, when people do things like this on the weekend, they don't want you to know about it. But in this situation, that's not the case. What happened is the judge didn't want to hurt any students. Um, you know, make a ruling that could force students to lose their scholarships because there are roster limit changes and other things taking place here. So they changed the language so I guess it doesn't affect the current students. So basically, it'll delay like the start for roster limits and scholarship changes, which affect the cap. So we're gonna talk about all of that. Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. If anybody seemed confused when they join us, feel free in the chat to update them and let them know we decided to talk about breaking news instead. All right, so let me get my screen together. All right. All right, so y'all, I can see me, so that means y'all should be able to see me. Okay, first and foremost, congratulations for everybody who was a part of this lawsuit. Damages for 2.8 billion with the B will be paid out to students, athletes going back for 10 years, including the people that sued, including their lawyers, because lawyers got to get paid, and there were likely lawyers that took these cases pro bono. Well, not pro bono, but expecting to be paid. You know, I'll take the case. If you win, I get paid. If you don't, then I lose. So it was a risk, but it's paying off. And they're going back 10 years. It said 10 years. So they're going back to 2015. And y'all know NIL came along in 2021. So I think that that's interesting. You would think they would go back to 2021 and 10 years from there, but it just said 10 years. We did a video on this already. I started calling out names of people who were eligible to file a claim because if you remember that video, you had until January 31st to file a claim. And if you filed the claim before, on or before January 31st, once the suit was settled and you fall within that 10-year window at seemingly an FBS Power 5 school, then you get the money. And one person jumped out at Colorado that we knew. There were several Colorado people. I think one is in the NFL. And one guy, y'all remember Mikey Harrison? He was on the list. But since they say they're going back 10 years, that's all the way to 2015. So that gets more people. So that's actually pretty good. So that's where we are. I'm trying to see if I can see myself, so to make sure I don't lose y'all. Okay. All right. So new rules, new NIL rules are out. So there's a settlement number one. So damages have to be paid, going back 10 years. Two, new NIL rules. Okay. Um. Okay. It looked like it came back. It looked like it came back. All right. It looks like we're back. So what it let me do, it let me, it actually let me stay on the same one. But y'all have to, I don't appear to be frozen. Yes, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me go back to what I was saying, sharing my screen. You know what? I wonder if sharing my screen might be causing a problem. I don't know. Uh-oh. I don't know. I never really realized if that's what it was or not. All right, so let me just tell you what it is. Okay, so I don't have to share my screen again. Okay, so did y'all hear the part about me saying they have this new commission? And did you hear the part about Title IX? Let me know. I'm not going to share my screen because maybe that's a problem. Okay, thank you, thank you. So let me know if y'all heard the part about what was the last thing y'all heard? I don't know. Oh, okay, all right, all right. So thank you. I'm gonna just go back. Okay, so you heard me say that the settlement was $2.8 billion with a B. You heard me say that the fight could be about how the money is divided up, right? The money is divided up by it should be divided up by who makes the most money. It should be divided up amongst what? Income generating sports. But the fight is Title IX because football is for men, men's basketball is for men. They generate the most money. Skiing and archery does not. Cross country track might not even be revenue generating. But golf also feels like they should get paid because they are what? Student athletes. So there are people looking at this like, well, if it's for athletes, regardless of income generated or not, we should get paid. So that's what Title IX comes in at because income generating or not is one thing. But women's sports get excluded from that a lot. So they feel like it's discrimination based on gender. So Title IX could put a hiccup in this. Then there's the whole thing about if you can pay your student athletes directly, but you don't have to. You can opt out of that. So you can pay them directly. This only applies to Power Five schools. There's only 69 Power Five schools. So if you're HBCU, if you're Notre Dame, if you're FBS independent, like Massachusetts, Notre Dame, and maybe Connecticut, this does not apply to you. And then the 69 schools are the ones that the money, the settlement is divided amongst the people. And then it's narrowed down. If you met the deadline and filled out the claim before June 30th or 31st, then you're a part of that. And then you get the money if you're within the 10-year window. So it's a if, then, that, and the other. And if you qualify, then you'll likely get paid along with the lawyers. So the part that I said I didn't care for a lot is what? This new commission. So it's not going, it's not going to be the NCAA has nothing to do with this. They're not governing in it. They created a new entity. The Power Five owns the entity. I don't know who's going to be on the commission. What I don't like about the entity, I don't care if they get somebody else. Okay. What I don't care if they get somebody else. Um, what I care about is the part where if you get a deal and say you approve a deal with the company, the commissioner, if the commission, if it's over $600, they have to look at it. They get to scrutinize the deal. They get to say whether it's valid or not. They get to say it's not valid. They get to say it's too much money. They get to say it's not enough money. They get to say, we don't like this business. You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't think it's legit. And that's the part I don't like because you can use that to keep a player from leaving Miami and coming to Colorado. You could say, Bob's Construction is not legit, you know. So that's gonna force people who have these smaller deals, it might kick them out. But then also too, you could just harass people with it. You know, you could be like, well, so and so hopped in the transfer portal, and then when they got to Colorado, they got a deal. Well, maybe you mad because they left Tennessee and went to UCLA, and now somebody on a commissioner is a commission is your buddy, and they're like, well, we haven't looked at your deal yet. We got to look at it. We got to think about it. Yeah, we looked at it. Now, what's the business again? Okay, we'll get back to you. They can stall. They can weaponize the commission. I don't like that. And what I was saying was, you already have to report anything over $600, including a cash app, to the United States government via the IRS. So why I gotta tell you? You see what I'm saying? That's the part I don't like. Also, schools will not act in the best interest of athletes. Right. And here's the thing. I have no issue with the cap because it's like the NFL. It goes up 4% over every year. It's supposed to be like 22% right now. Then it goes up next year for 4%. They have a few years like year 4, year 7, year 10 that is exempt. And here's the thing. How's that money going to be split up? So we back to the same question. Football brings in the most money. They can have 105 scholarships, or they can opt out of that too. Because see, all the scholarships go against the cap. So let's say Colorado football get $5 million to pay players with, right? Then that's where the cross country team could be like, that's not fair. See, now people want the money to be divided up based on the fact that I'm alive and I play sports. It's not about who generates the money no more. See, I don't really like that either. Because why should somebody on the rowing team get the same money as somebody on the football team when your program don't even make no money? See, that's a problem. So now, and see, Colorado got ahead of the curve, and that's good. What they decided to do, I think last season or last year, late last year, they already began to adopt the NIL with the cap and paying players directly. I don't know if they had started that yet, but they already set up everything. Like there's a director of NIL for football. Then I think there might be a director of NIL for basketball. So that person's job is likely to manage the budget that the football team gets. And I'm like, is there going to be a director of NIL for skiing too? Because that's a lot. Seems like there should be one overall director with a bunch of assistants, but I don't have nothing to do with that part. But the part is NIL, Colorado already tried to get on the road ahead of this so they wouldn't be hit by it at the last minute because they anticipated that it would pass. They had been fighting about it for 5 years, and it caught wind just like a lot of other people did, that it's still moving forward, so it's likely going to go. And they knew what the last hiccups were. Like there was an issue, like they said walk-ons didn't get part of the settlement, the $2.8 billion. They were like, that's not fair. And I'm like, that's true. Because if you're a walk-on, your name, image, and likeness is used in the game. So I don't know if they settled that or not. And I'm sure they did because I didn't see it today. So that's, that's good. So I like that the fact the judge wasn't trying to leave anybody out, or with the ruling based on when it would be effective, she wasn't trying to make anybody lose their scholarship. I like that. That shows care and concern and consideration. What I don't like is this whole commission thing. And see, it's stuff like this. You might get somebody that is offered by Notre Dame and that is offered, say, I don't know, by Duke. And they might be like, so-and-so have a $5 million NIL deal for you. And you might already have heard the commissioner, the commission is tripping. You might be like, I'm going to go to Notre Dame. Why? Because they don't have nothing to do with that. They are independent. And I think Massachusetts was thinking of joining the MAC, the MEC or some conference in 2025. If I'm Notre Dame, I'm staying independent. I'm like, because this is crazy. If I have to report it on my taxes and I can sign the contract for the deal, now you want me to bring it to you and I got to report it on my taxes. What? Why I got to tell you anything? It's a business deal. And when it comes down to money, why should you have the authority to say, It's too much money, or this not legit, or this inappropriate. Where that coming at? And I don't like that part because why? The reason why this fight was 5 years long is because they didn't want these kids to get paid. And all that commission is doing, luckily, it's not all programs. There's 300 college programs for sports out here. Um, so it's not everybody. But the point is, it is the Power Five where it gets a little sticky. And you see how they do Colorado sometimes, right? And people saying Alabama falling off because they're not automatically included anymore because they losing their luster and stuff like that. And see, Duke gave Darian Mensah $4 million for 2 years, totaling $8 million. So $8 million for 2 years, $4 million each. What if the commission looks at that and like, well, that's a lot of money? See, I don't like that. And to me, that's the part that allows them to still meddle. And it seems like because they didn't want it at all, they still got to keep their paws on these kids' money. See, I don't like that. You not the IRS, so why you got to look at it? And I'm telling you, that's somebody gonna get into it, and that's not gonna be resolved until it happens. Now the Title IX thing, they're gonna have to fight that out. Whether it's all sports with the settlement, then they're gonna have to come back and fight it out, and maybe they use the same outcome with the settlement that they use for the cap, because I'm sure Colorado figured out, well, we only got $20 million, and we not giving cross country $10 million. We're not doing that. I'm sure they've had the conversation. I'm sure they've had the fight already. I'm sure they realize, look, if you don't generate no income, then you can't get what the football team get, and then they can't get jealous. See, that's gonna be a problem. But maybe Colorado figured theirs out. There's gonna be schools that don't want to do this. They're gonna be like, nope, let them go get their own NIL deals. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Because then, see, that's how you circumvent. See, that's how you get away from that commission. You like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. That's what people do. These things naturally work themselves out. It's all about control. Yes, they didn't want them with it, but now I gotta control it. And I took it away from the NCAA, but then I created this new thing, and that's only for 69 schools, and it's the schools that fight the most because they make the most money, and they cheat Colorado. And I'm like, I don't like this. And there was another one on the table. This is what they ended up with. They wanted to get like an accounting firm to look at the deals. I'm like, hell no. You just enriching somebody that is a partner over there. So no. So that didn't happen. So they did end up with this commission. It's called NIL Go. And instead of just reporting it to your taxes, which is where it really should go, between you, the people you made the deal with, and the IRS, now you got to come over here and take it and look at it with. So you know what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of deals coming in at $5.99. You're going to see the smaller deals. You're going to see and you know what's going to happen too? See, people going to figure out a way to circumvent that, right? They're going to be like, you know what? We was going to make it like $7.50. Let's just go and make it $5.99 in this quarter, and then maybe we'll do another quarter at $5, because you can figure it out. I mean, it might be for the year, but the small deals, it's just like winning money at the casino. It's the same thing. If it's more than $600, they have to come out. You have to get your ID. But if you win less than whatever it is, $600 that don't have to be reported, then you just get your money and keep it pushing. They don't care who they give it to. So it's the same thing, but I don't understand. It's like you have to double report. You have to report to commission. They have to figure out if it's valid, figure out if you cheated, if you're breaking the rules. I don't like that. I don't like that. And somebody need to figure out something else to just circumvent that. So it's a lot happening. People fighting over the $2.8 billion. Who's it going to? Revenue generating, non-revenue generating. Who makes the most money? Then roster limits. Okay, so right now, they said at Wisconsin, they have 151 women with scholarships on the rowing team. With roster limits, they got to go down to 68. Texas A&M got like 144 football players. They're going to have to go to 105. Stuff like that. So the judge didn't want to cut off those people's scholarships who are in school right now. She didn't want to, upend their education. So I respect her for that. I respect her for that. Are there certain compliance regarding the commission? No. The commission is an entity that just self. I'm like, who own it? Who gonna decide who's on the commission? Let me guess. All the SEC schools. I don't even know how they come up with this. That's why I don't like this. I'm like, this is gonna be crazy right here. This is crazy because see now you gotta wonder. Like, remember Bryce Underwood got that deal for $10 million. See, that's the kind of deals they really want to look at. They want to look at the deal like what was the guy name that left Tennessee? See, that's the kind of stuff, in my opinion, that needed oversight. And let me tell you why. Because these schools knew that NIL was growing, and what they tried to do was lock in these students at the same school for 4 years for a certain amount of money. So basically, I'm paying you not to leave. But then if they want to leave, it's a problem. And they seemingly put in a morality clause that if you get in trouble or something, it protects the school. But when the student want to leave, you see Nico got defamed. And then people got mad because his brother was at Arkansas and something happened. And something about his brother was at UCLA. His brother left UCLA and went to Arkansas. And then as soon as his brother left, Nico went to UCLA. So people feel like that was like, Tennessee feel like they got played. But see, Tennessee was trying to play Nico. And what I didn't understand was, at the time, schools couldn't even pay students. So whoever was paying Nico didn't have nothing to do with the football team. So why was the football team acting like they was paying Nico directly? See, because they wasn't doing it right, which is why they didn't sue him for breach of contract, because something was not right. And you can't sue nobody if you wrong too, because it's going to come up and it's going to blow up in everybody's face. See, now, if Bryce Underwood is already committed to whatever college he was going to, because we talked about Bryce Underwood in this whole deal. Now, see, he goes to Michigan. So let's say whoever's coming out next, somebody else, if they get a $10 million deal, you know they're going to look at that. You know they're going to want to know who's paying for that. And you know no school is taking a $10 million hit on a football program. So where is the money coming from? If he don't have an endorsement with Nike for $10 million, which is 2,468 or 369 a year, $3 million a year, then where is the money coming from? See, the problem is anybody could have went out here and set up like a NIL whatever and set up a business and say, hey, we own a sewing company and we want you to endorse our product. We're going to give you $10 million if you play for Michigan. They say you can't even call it pay for play no more. Because that's what we were saying it looked like with Bryce Underwood, because he was going to a different school. See, they're going to get these 5-star recruits out of high school and locking them in for the entirety of college, whether it's 3 years or 2 or 4, when they know the price is going up. Because Carson Beck did not get, I don't even know if he had $4 million at Georgia. I looked one time too, and I don't know. Maybe it was $2 million. And see how he got $4 million from Miami? So they might want to look at Bryce Underwood and Nico's deal. Are they going to want to look at Carson Beck deal? Because I ain't hear nobody say nothing about that. Anybody remember? Right. So that's why I'm saying this going to get sticky. This going to get sticky. The moment they deny somebody, it's going to be a problem, because they're going to ask, why are you denying this when before, last year, it was good before you came along? It's going to be a problem. So let's see. Let's see what's in here. So it's a lot. It's a lot to it. Like I said, the sticking points, Title IX, people suing on discrimination, agenda, and sex, because the football team gonna get more of the $2.8 billion settlement if you play football than say if you play golf. That's big. And then the distribution, the cap distribution, and then this commission. The roster limits, you could opt out of that. See, they let the schools opt out of the roster limits. So here's the thing. It affects scholarships, because here's the thing. Scholarships and cash payments, which the students can now get, all got to be added together and cannot exceed the cap. So roster limits, that can be affected. Scholarships, that can be affected, but you have to make sure you're within the cap limit. I don't think that's as bad. To me, I don't know why Texas A&M need 144 people. 105 sounds good, especially if you have 4 people at every position. I mean, what are we doing here? Because that's clearly not including the coaches. We talking about scholarships. So, I don't know if CU is going what they gonna do. I guess they gonna tell us. I think they're gonna pay the students. That's what I think. Because I kind of heard something Coach Prime say maybe last year. I maybe can't affect. I might not be paying you directly, but I can affect your check if you don't do your schoolwork. Something. I don't know if y'all remember that. Something. So let me see what y'all are saying. It says, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Salafi, thank you so much. Marshall, how you doing? Marshall, welcome, welcome, welcome. What you say? How you doing? Let's see. Bumpy, welcome back, Bumpy. Let's see. It says, hey fam, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, 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 yes. Hey D, how you doing? Blue Moon, how you doing? Let me see what network I'm on. Maybe this is the one I need to stay on. But it might have something to do with the fact that I was sharing my screen. Okay, I see it. Okay. And it says Pamela flows and I'm glad we unfroze. See, now I know that I could try to toggle it and maybe it'll come back. Thank you, K Hayes. Thank y'all for hanging out. 77 of us, 40 likes. Please hit the like button. Just take a minute. Take a minute and hit the like button. So I didn't have to hop on to another live, so that's good. Let's see. It looks like we're back. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all can hear me. It said that's discrimination under Title IX, not to award HBCU athletes. Actually, it's not. It's not, because the settlement only pertains to Power 5 schools. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's where it started. I don't know why it doesn't include independents. I don't know why it don't include HBCUs. I don't even know why it don't include FCS. But when the lawsuit came along, that's who it involved. And I'm going to just be honest with you. If I'm an HBCU, I'm good. I'm good. Because it's not like this is federal funding and we dividing up that money. We talking about a settlement, not even a settlement, really. We're talking about, I don't care about that. I really don't. I don't care about that part. I don't know how it got like that, but that's not the bigger problem. I see the problem. The problem is not the money that they dividing up. It's the money that's coming in. It's the money that's coming in at 22%, which probably is about $22 million that got to be divided up against all athletic programs at CU, which is 14 or 15, and who gets what percentage. And of course, football should get more than rowing or skiing. And people going to have a problem with that. And then after that, it's going to be people upset because I have cash money from the school that I make. And what? Red Bull want to give me $1 million. But they want to look at it. And they've been looking at it for 3 months. You see what I'm saying? There's got to be some kind of rules in place. I really don't even know why the $2.8 billion has. And I guess because the people that sued, I'm going to assume, went to Power 5 schools, or I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Now that I think about it, I don't know. But what I do know is the money that's coming in is what I'm looking at. I'm like, this is going to be a problem. Because I feel like they just didn't want these students to get paid. So this is another hurdle to keep them from having control, from having any power, from having any say, from having any influence. It's almost like, well, I want to be the one to hand you the money. I don't like that. I already got to report it to the IRS. They got to report it to IRS because they're a business. Why you got to know? Think about it. Before this commission thing in the Power 5, that wasn't the case. So why they put that in place? It was already, nobody complained. Nobody complained about, the only time people complain is what? When Nico left Tennessee, then you heard about it. And that's crazy because Coach Prime even said it. They shouldn't even have these kids with no kind of contract like that. See, a business deal, a corporation has got a contract where, they protecting themselves in case this deal don't work out. But they're not trying to hold you for 5 years and your scholarship ransom and defaming you if the deal don't work out. They're going to do what businesses do. If it's not a lot of money, they'll deal with it. But if it's a lot of money, they're going to sue you, But for Tennessee to have an NIL something that has these kids on contract is crazy because what? Schools can pay kids directly. And guess what? There's no contract. It's just what it is. So now the NIL director of football and Coach Prime and the athletic director gonna sit down, and the athletic director gonna have to be the one to figure out how much the football team get. And then let's say the football team just say 5 million a year. It should be more than that because look at how much they bring in. But let's say it's 5 million divided by how many students? 105, and you got to pay them all equally, right? Or do you? Do you? Maybe you could give your quarterback $2 million, and maybe you just pay everybody else. But then who gonna protect your quarterback? So now you got to pay the O line, but then somebody got to catch the ball. So remember that NIL structure I told y'all about at Ohio State? The quarterback got 2 million, the O line got one, and like the receivers got $500,000, something like that. That's what I think is getting ready to happen. That's what. Now, don't forget, there's the cap money. Remember, there's the cap money. But they said UT got a $56 million roster. Where that money coming from? Is that they cap money? Or is that some booster money? Is that illegal? See, it's a whole lot of stuff. Y'all know boosters still do what they do. So is their roster $56 million because it's the 22% of their gross revenue? Because that's how you're supposed to calculate it. If so, that means the schools that make the most money gonna have the best talent because they can pay. Isn't that what's already happening? And now you got Power Five basically can give out this money, and with they caps, this don't seem to apply to the rest of the schools. So it seemed like all of this was just about Power Five. It says also school will not act in the best interest of athletes. Oh, I agree. It says I just saw something that said 90% is going to football and basketball. Right. And that's where the Title IX lawsuit probably gonna show up because football is for men. And typically they say men's basketball, then women's basketball, then something else. So I mean, honestly, let's be real. When you look at who's holding these schools down, who's holding these schools down? Do y'all know that these football programs at these big schools and now Colorado, you know they bring it in triple digit millions just off of TV rights. Then there's ticket sales. Then there's advertising and other stuff. These schools have $1 billion valuations now. And Colorado is one of them. Because I checked. So yep. That's what's gonna happen. So that's why I said they likely gonna end up in a lawsuit. If they don't appeal this within 30 days, they're gonna push a Title IX lawsuit. That's a bad deal. Like you said, people that don't get paid equally will file a complaint. Right. They might just go ahead. They got 30 days to file an appeal for this suit. But then they might be like, you know what? Forget this suit. Let it ride and sue under Title IX. Because there was some female athletes at Oregon suing. Now get this. Oregon had an NIL collective that Nike had something to do with, right? Now y'all know Nike's best interest is sports, all sports. But they NIL collective was putting together deals or finding deals for who? The football team and the basketball team. So some women in a different sport, obviously they didn't play one of those. And I meant men's basketball, by the way. They sued. They sued the Oregon and the collective, and they probably threw Nike in there too. And I was thinking, all the people that they had on the collective was some big, big, powerful people. And I was saying to myself, so they just went to Nike basically and set up shop for only football and for only basketball. And they didn't give a damn about the rest of the schools. So I don't know what happened to that Title IX suit. But what happened at Nike is exactly, what happened with Oregon and the NIL collective is exactly what's getting ready to happen with this situation in Title IX. Because female athletes feel like they're not getting a piece of the pie. But if your school don't bring in the money, should you? I mean, what do y'all really think about that? Yes or no? Should everybody should the $2.8 billion be divided up equally, regardless of sport, because you're a student athlete, or should the money be divvied up the way it was earned, with football generating the most money, men's basketball generating the second amount of most money, unless you UConn, and then women? What do y'all think? Yes or no? When I see the yes or no, I'm thinking I know what y'all gonna say. All right, this is going to get messy. Yes, yes. See, they said there were people that were hoping for federal oversight. When Trump came along and said, I think people were actually shocked that Biden's administration said what? Yes, Title IX applies. And then because that was the last thing that the Biden administration did before they handed it over to Trump. And then Trump came in and said, no, it don't. This is about sports and who generates money. And then Biden like, nope, nope, nope. And I was shocked by that. I was shocked because who the hell plays football and basketball? So it seemed like it would have been a reverse. But I think they was looking at gender and we looking at something else. I'm looking at y'all don't make no money. So you don't get no money. That's how I look at it. I never looked at college sports like women were getting left behind, because women don't play football, but now in pro sports they do. And did y'all know Jackson State had a kicker that's a woman, and she is now a pro football player as a woman kicker. So see, she opened the doors. Now women can go and I guess try out in college or in high school. They should now let women be kickers. So that way they can go to college on a scholarship for being a kicker like this young lady did at Jackson State. And now she's pro as a kicker. What do y'all? I like that idea. I don't have a problem with that. But I think the NFL need to get one too. I do. It said, yes, it's gonna get messy. Yes, JP, it's gonna get messy. It said that most teams plan to use 90% of that. It's control. That's what it seemed like. It's about control and reigning power over athletes, right? And it's crazy because people said that's what the NCAA was trying to do, keep their foot on their neck. But they essentially kicked the NCAA out of this scenario and then created oversight over 5 conferences. I'm like, I would go to independent. I would just go to damn Notre Dame. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna come over here. Because if somebody want to pay me, then we don't have to fight about it. All I got to do is report it on my taxes. Because it's going to get crazy. They either going to have to look away at everything and let everybody do whatever they want to do. But the moment they lay down the law, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And it's going to be Colorado. Oh, no, we don't think that's a good deal. You can hop in the portal and go over there, but you can't get this deal. Yep. That's what I think. It said, hey, Regina, it said, are there certain compliance rules? But not that I could see. I don't even know how that comes about. And I'm not sure they do either. How many, they have a website though. They have a website. It said, how many boats does Wisconsin have? I was like, what? So they gonna go from 150 something to 68. I'm like, I don't even understand how they got away with that. Now, see, that's what the NCAA should be looking into, but they ain't say nothing about that. This say I call cap. Yeah, it's crazy. I call cap too. 150 women with scholarships on a rowing team at Wisconsin. I call cap. Why is there 144 people on the football team at Texas A&M? That's a lot of people. It's only 22 people on the field. Let me see something. This crazy. This is crazy. Let me see. I'm just curious right fast. Hold on one second. 22 people play football. No, that's on one side. It's 11. Oh, wait, offense and defense. Okay, I'm going to do 22. So 144 divided by 22. They got 16. They got an A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 6. That's 6. That's like 6 spots on the depth chart. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's crazy. That's too many. I mean, that's just like two extra rows of walk-ons. Like that's a lot. That's a lot. And actually, I don't even know if you need 4 players on the depth chart in college. How many y'all think is good? 3 or 4? I think maybe I thought maybe just 4, but that might be a lot too. It said, yeah. Oh, how you doing? Who is that? 1922. Is that what they say? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It says sound like NCAA 2.0. Thank you. Thank you. It said this is bad. It's gonna be bad when it's a fight. Like I said, they're gonna have to not look at nothing nobody's doing and just let everything fly. But the moment it looked like there's any impropriety, see, there are people that want NIL to be under federal oversight. And if this becomes a problem within the next 3 years, it can happen. Because I feel like this, I don't like this. I think this is not freedom. This is meddling. This is meddling and it opens the door for too much. And it's already enough going on with refs trying to cheat schools. So, that's why I don't like it. It said Coach Swayze was reviewing the infractions with players. So it sounds like what Coach Prime said in effect. What's that, K Hayes? Hey, I found you. Hey, Freeman, thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Tina and Freeman sent me Cash App. If y'all send me a Cash App, I didn't put it in the chat tonight, but the Cash App is in the bio, and I was letting everybody know. It's the right one because just look at the logo. It's the same logo. It's the same logo on all my platforms, but if you on YouTube, just look at the logo on YouTube. Because I know people get a little squirrely about that. You don't, because you can't get it back, so you don't want to send it to the wrong place. So I understand. Jackie, it said the way it was earned. That's what I think. That's what I think. See, I think the other way, they just don't want the football players to get it. That's what I think. They don't want the basketball players to get it because it's who? Because it's who? Right. I'm like, hell no. You didn't make no money. When you go out there and play golf, do people come look? Better yet, do they play? That's like at the University of Alabama. They have this very expensive golf facility for the golf team. And I remember when it went down, it's like in the millions. And I was like, who paid for this? Come to find out, the football team paid for it. You think they had a choice? And do you think if the football needed a new stadium and golf made the most money, they would give it to them? No. You see, that's how people do. And that's why I think a lot of people want to push the Title IX, because they feel like, well, it's just going to be who end up with the money. I mean, damn it, they made the money. And if Wisconsin had 150 women on the rowing team, y'all been getting away with a lot. There's not even enough time for all of them to compete. They probably have 3 squads, a A, B, and a C, and everybody else is just just out here, whatever. I'm just like, that's crazy. It said, no, not federal oversight. Right, people don't want that. And I do think that, now I'm just thinking about it while we're talking, that might be why this commission exists. Because they kicked the NCAA out, and the NCAA is the one that wanted federal oversight. The NCAA also wanted them to be what? Employees. They don't want the students to be student athletes. They want them to be counted as employees. I don't know, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Too much oversight. Yeah, I agree. And it said, Nick Saban is on the commission. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are y'all serious? He's on the commission? Now that's crazy, because he left college. Because if he is, I don't know if y'all saying he is or not. If he is, that's crazy, because he left college because he didn't want to be bothered with NIL. He was like, I don't like this. And I'm like, why? You don't want your players to be compensated? And I think he felt like he would lose control because the students could leave when they want to. But see, now y'all are starting to see that's starting to work itself out, is it? The students that leave, if they don't have somewhere to go, sometimes what happens? They languish in the portal, and then other people see that and they're like, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. But then with Cash Cleveland, he took a chance, but he also got awards and accolades. And people were like, well, it's good for him to, while his stock is up, to see where he could go. But when it was other people leaving, they didn't say it like that. But when Cash was leaving, they was like, that's good. I don't have no problem with it because his stock is up. And most people were like, if you had gone to another school, you would have never got these accolades. And it's true. So they felt like he should have been loyal. But I'm okay with him going. I'm just not okay with him letting Coach Prime know. Because, I mean, that means you don't realize the relationships that some of these coaches have with other people, whether it's with Coach Prime or the NIL director or whatever. And Coach Prime said it. I know you didn't think I would know, but of course I knew. And see, that just didn't look good. It looked like he was trying to get his lick back because they say the new guy Xavier Hill came in and got a scholarship and he didn't. That's what they're saying. And I'm like, I mean, that's the way it's gonna go. And have y'all seen Xavier Hill? The size alone. Hopefully he's good. So it says, is Elon on there? I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, I'm happy this finally over because it's been 5 years. I have no idea why it is just 69 schools. Because all schools do have NIL, I do believe. So I have no idea. And maybe it gets appealed. But you know what? They've been fighting this for 5 years, and no other schools tried to join it. So I don't know what this is about. So in terms of the money they're going to divvy up, yep, that's going to be a fight. And in terms of this commission, the moment it looks like, they hating on a school or trying to control where people go, or you know what, you could go to Colorado and you could get this deal, but it's for too much money. See, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And when I was reading about it, I got this weird feeling. I said, it's not going to work. I was like, this is going to open up the door and let people cheat. And they are supposed to be the ones enforcing the rules and making sure people don't cheat, but they're going to be the ones cheating. And y'all sure Nick Saban is on the committee? Nick Saban is on the committee. What? Yeah, I don't know. I know they got a website though. And I don't know how they pick who was on it. And that's another thing. See, somebody said it. This is just like NCAA 2.0. NCAA Light. It's the same thing. Because when you look at the people sitting on a commission of the NCAA, considering football and basketball make the most money, there should be some people that look like people that play football and basketball. The majority. In both sports. And it's not. At all. If you look at the people on these committees, this executive committee or whatever they want to call it for the NCAA, at all. And I'm like, nah, that's crazy. I'm like, nah, that's not right. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see how this money gets divided up. So, but that's it. That's it. So, do y'all have any questions about it? Let me know. I'm here to answer any questions about it. I'll probably just do Shador tomorrow. Because I've really been studying this. Let me check my notes to see if there was anything else that I had on there. So these were my notes. It said they've been fighting for 5 years. It said the judge made a decision on the evening, Friday evening, which was on June 6th, so late yesterday. And it said the NCAA and a Power 5 were what? That's who was sued. Okay, so this is why it's about the Power 5. The NCAA and only the Power 5 was sued. So this don't have nothing to do with HBCUs because nobody sued them, or Notre Dame or Independence because nobody sued them. So that's why. This was strictly the NCAA was sued and the Power 5 was sued. It said you have 30 days to file an appeal. It said you're allowed but not required for schools to directly pay athletes for NIL. So the school, you could, like, there could be a school out there like Oregon. Yeah, we don't want to do that. And it's not called pay for play. There is an annual cap based on a percentage defined by Power 5 athletic departments. So it's 5 ADs get together and they're gonna talk about how much the cap should be. So okay, that's good to know. And that's based on the Power 5 athletic department revenues. So the athletic director. Payments begin July 1st. Woo, that's good. So if you go to Colorado, and let's say you just got to Colorado in the spring, maybe you came from a non-Power 5 school and you go to Colorado, you get paid down. I mean, I think that's good, right? But see, that also gives Power 5s an edge. But all schools don't have to get it. That's what we need to look at. Since we know payments start on July 1st, what schools decided to pay their athletes? That's going to be interesting. And I want to hear more about this $56 million roster from UT. Because how they going to do that? It says, this is for current and former athletes over a 10-year period to receive a share of the $2.8 billion. Power 5, because that's who was sued. And damages. That's just the damages. Oh, and the lawyers who represent them. So lawyers get ready to get paid out of $2.8 billion. Imagine if your settlement is $200,000. Your lawyer gets whatever they said he was going to charge you. 33% is standard, I think. It says no scholarship limits. You'll have roster limits instead. So Wisconsin going to have to stick with 68 instead of 155. College Sports Commission will scrutinize NIL deals as a new entity. Don't like that. $600 or more will have to be reported. Whether you get a deal, if you get an internal NIL deal. So, okay, if CU pays Juju $2 million July 1st, if that's the deal he strikes with CU, he got to take that deal to the new commission. And if he gets a $2 million NIL deal from CU, he got to take it to the commission. And then if Nike or let's say Gatorade want to throw him $1 million, he got to take that to the commission. But if either entity wants to give him $599, he don't have to. NIL Gold is the new name, and that's what's going to determine whether the deal has validity, a valid business purpose within a reasonable range of compensation, whatever that means. This is going to be a problem. Oh, okay. I think it said whatever that is deemed, but I changed it to whatever that means because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It said, and here are my questions. These are my questions. Who is on this new entity? Who's on this new college sports commission? How long do they have to approve each deal so they don't stall? And what if there's a disagreement? How does it get resolved? So Juju gets a $2 million deal from Colorado and $1 million deal from Gatorade. He reports both at the same time. What if they say, no, that's not reasonable. It's not fair and reasonable. How they gonna solve the dispute? Who gonna break the dispute? He gonna have to sue them or what? That needs to be outlined. And I'm sure that's in they frequently asked questions because they have a website. So those are my questions. It says the commissioner operated by the conferences. So the conferences themselves. So y'all know how we have a conference commissioner? So now you know, I don't know, maybe each conference is going to pick somebody to be on the commission, or is it going to be the president of the conference? So like the president of the Big 12, is he going to appoint somebody to sit on this commission for the Big 12? And then the SEC going to appoint somebody? Because they don't have time to be doing this. This is the full-time job. Or it could be for the most part once it gets going. Because we're talking about 69 schools. That's a minimum of 69 deals got to be looked at. And then how many football players? And then let's say 5 players per team have. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I'm thinking somebody gonna have to get appointed, and either the AD and the ADs of all the schools and the commissioner, either they gonna vote on it or they just gonna pick somebody. And see, that's important. That's important. So now somebody gonna get a job. And who is that gonna be? Are they qualified? Is it your cousin? You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it one of your boosters? So there you go. So it said the commission is operated by the conference, and the commission will investigate alleged malfeasance. They will enforce the rules and penalize all of the rule breakers. Oh, now that's interesting. So, who said NCAA 2.0? Yes, this is the same thing because remember Reggie Bush got penalized and they took back. See, how are they going to be able? Who's going to have the last word on the decision that the commission makes, whether it's right or wrong? Who has the last word? That is the exact problem with the NCAA. And it wouldn't surprise me if they somehow have a hand and who's sitting on that commission. And to me, it's a conflict of interest to kick the double NCAA out and then get somebody from over there for one of the conferences. I don't like that. It's not enough. See, to me, that's where federal oversight gonna come from because they're gonna get into it. Now you can see how this commission is gonna be problematic. Because see, why do you have to have any type of say so on if my deal falls in the range of a certain amount? If Nike want to pay somebody $20 million, that ain't for you to say, that's too much. That's outside the reason. See, that's the problem. That's gonna be a problem. Because we already know it's $10 million deals out here. Yep, that's crazy. That's crazy. I thought Saban quit college ball. Why is he focused on the players' money? Yeah, see, that's interesting. Is the 20 million for all colleges? No, no. This is just a lawsuit with damages. It was a lawsuit about Power Five NIL. I don't know why. And the damages are only awarded to 69 Power Five schools, and the athletes that filed the claim before January 31st that fall within the 10-year window, and their lawyers got to get paid too. I may be getting hired somewhere. Let us know. Let us know. And if you need an assistant, it's somebody in the chat that might want to help you. It said, Bridget Mack said, they supposed to come from top schools. Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, not the NFL talent at all. Oh. They don't want players to get paid. That's all this is. That's all this is, B. Johnson. This is another way. This is because they could not stop players from getting paid. I feel like they put this commission in here to muddy the waters, to make it harder. To, okay, I can't stop you from getting paid, but I'm gonna determine how you who paid you, how much you get paid, and what school you go to, and yada yada. See, I don't like that. They're not free and clear with that. It should have just been a business decision. But see, they don't want to look at the student athletes like they're business people. But technically they are, because if somebody paid you $2 million, are you filing it on your personal taxes? Or are you filing it under an LLC that you now have a brand? You see what I'm saying? And if I got to report it $600 and over to the IRS, I shouldn't have to have any conversation with you. Because if me and Coke did a deal, why I got to come to you and for you to say it's too much money? Coke could pay me however much they think I'm valued. And that's crazy. That's like somebody offering you a job as an executive, right? 250,000, and then you got to take that offer after you sign your contract and say, yeah, I'm gonna work for you, but hold up, let me go over here and take it to a third party, so they can look at it. No, that don't happen. But they want to say, because they're not employees, they can stick their fingers in it and mess it up. Can you talk about Dart's performance on a future show? Yeah, we can talk about it tomorrow. With Shador, because I have video of it. He was out there dancing too. I was gonna talk about it tonight, but it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, we can talk about it tomorrow because I wanted to talk about Shador having motion. And I actually did a video about Travis and how the Jacksonville Jaguars fans are stressed because he out here dancing. I'm like, so it's a lot of people dancing. He's happy. It's rookie behavior. Chill out. And what you need to be worried about is your quarterback. That's what you need to be worried about. I didn't say the quarterback part in the video, but I did. I had to take it out because I don't want to come off that kind of way. But let's be real. You worried about Travis. That's what you worried about. You're not worried about the quarterback you stuck with, who supposedly has a no trade clause, and his contract is valid until 2030. Travis is not Jesus. So Trevor Lawrence going to have to be good. He's going to have to be good, or Travis going to end up getting hurt. And nobody wants that. Trevor Lawrence played 10 games last season, and it said because of a shoulder injury, but it also said before the shoulder injury, which makes me wonder how valid it is. He was 2-8, 2-8, and they stuck with him till when? 2030. That's a bad deal. Somebody must have colluded against the Jaguars for that, because that it must have been like you got to get him. You can't get nobody else. That's sad. So yes, we will talk about it, JFIC. Thank you. It said NCAA as well as the officiating director. These people are living well. Yes, yes, yes. Because without football and basketball, I don't even know if they would have anything to do other than regulate football and basketball players. Let's be real. And watch, there's going to be somebody out there saying they didn't know about this. You know why? Because it was not really publicized. Once we found out about it, I did a video about it. I don't know how many people looked at it, probably not even 1,000. And I know I called out names. So, it said Queen D's QBs will be paid a lot in college, right? But turn out to be like Dart or hell, Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't remember when Trevor got drafted. I know when Jackson Dart got drafted. I watched the Senior Bowl. I heard those commentators say, yeah, Jackson Dart, he's already hit his ceiling. You think the Giants don't know that? See, they probably scapegoated the scouts that they fired and the personnel person to say, well, they told us Dart was good. See, they getting their ducks in a row. They fired those scouts for either saying, oh, they told us Dart was good to get him. They told us Shedeur was bad. They scapegoating those guys. That's why they gone. Because no scout said anything negative about Shedeur. Who was it? The head coach, a quarterback coach, an anonymous assistant that if I had to bet you any money was a part of that organization. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I already see the fixes in on college quarterbacks. They're trying to push two, and then there's a whole lot of them out there, but they only trying to talk about two. And we got a lot to talk about tomorrow because we're gonna take a look. I'm gonna show y'all something that I saw. Remember, I told y'all about the whole 17-32, and I asked the question: how long does this plot against Shedeur and Coach Prime to scapegoat Coach Prime go back to keep Shedeur out the QB1 spot? Which is why you see Cleveland doing it. See, that confirms what I said. That's exactly what was going on in the draft. Cleveland is just doing what they did in the draft. That's what they didn't want to happen. So Cleveland is doing what? They keeping a script. What they say, just keep up with the script or whatever. Stick to the script. So I told y'all I want to know how long this go back. So I think when I said the Las Vegas Super Bowl, I was doing some research today. And I was looking over a period of years and I started to see a pattern. And I said, it does. They knew at the end of last year, when the Super Bowl was over, they knew exactly who was going to be who. Once the season was finally done, you could figure out who was going to be where, and you could start to see things changing. And I can see exactly when things changed. And I could see it was changing too fast for them. Not that that's right, but that's what it is. And we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So get ready. Because it's obvious. It's obvious. So I think it goes all the way back to the Super Bowl, which is why they went back to Charles Woodson at the Super Bowl and said, you still interested? And they rushed him through. So they already knew the Browns was going to be involved in whatever took place this year. The question is, when did they decide to peg Shedeur to push him to the Browns? Because when you look at 2024 QBs for college, the rankings that came out, Shedeur and Cam were like 7 and 8. They weren't even at the top. So they didn't know it was going to be Shador, Cam, and Milroe until a certain point. And the question is, was it midway through the season, or was it after the Alamo Bowl, after the last bowl game, after the BCS championship, or whatever it's called now, after the Natty? Is that when they decided? Because at some point you did not know it was going to be those three as the top three. Look at all the hate Shador got. People would have been shocked that he was even a first round projection with all of the hate he got. And Cam, I don't know when they saw him. And Milroe, look how they trashed him in college. But he still managed to get to the third QB spot at some point. And at some point, they knew what was going to happen, because I knew last year. I know I talked about this. Maybe I might have not been streaming. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. But it wasn't a big deal. It's just people were excited about it because of how far black quarterbacks have come. And you don't hear nobody talking. That's the one point you don't hear anybody making. That this year was the year that the majority of the starting quarterbacks are black with this draft. And I know it was said this year, maybe just once or twice, because they didn't want you to look in that direction to see them hold Shador and Milroe back. And that's the only reason why they scapegoat Coach Pride. And that's why they didn't talk about Milroe. And that's why they're not talking about Cam. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So, get ready. I'll be happy when this conversation grows outside of this podcast, because that's what needs to happen, because that's exactly what this is. At some point, they realized it was not Carson Beck. It was not Will Howard. It was not Kyle McCord like they projected, right? Because Carson Beck's still in school. So that changed things, right? And then maybe Kyle McCord, because he went to Syracuse, he was never up there, but somebody else was. And I know it's still out there. Shador and Cam. And it was Cam like 7, Shador like 8 or 9. They had the two of them way at the bottom. And I don't know where Milroe was. I think he was up higher. I think Milroe was like a 4 or a 5. But at some point, they knew who was 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the best coming out of college. And to me, that is when they said, this one, and this one. But see, the Titans didn't want to keep their pick. That should have been the biggest clue right there. They tried to get off that pick. And now, I looked at their depth chart again today just to make sure it did change. Cam is the number 1 QB1 on their chart, and they got him competing with a guy that failed last year. They changing the rules, just like I told you they was going to do. When black quarterbacks get to the majority, they no longer going to value them and see them as the kings. And they have already created an offensive line award. They never had one before, but they thought to have one now. Why? Look at the O-line, people, and see it makes sense. I said the same thing about the tight ends, which is why they gave the ball to Andrews in Baltimore, because that's what they wanted. They wanted it to be him. They trying to position this for a reason. They trying to keep their audience, and they also trying to preserve what's always been the case and what has been changing. And I mean rapidly in terms of the age of the league going back to 1920 to now, since Michael Vick and Dante Culpepper, the dual threat quarterback, is why the gains have been so fast. And it's hard to devalue them. But they found a way this year. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Blue Moon. Latasha, it said he's what? He's leading. What? Are you talking about Nick Saban? What? Oh, wow. Now, that's crazy. I wonder if he left Alabama because he knew this was coming. It's very possible. Because this been 5 years in the making. How long has he been gone? Is it a year or 2? 2 years? Maybe not. Because when I read, and now it's possible, but when I read the settlement, I read it on a podcast or a video. I read the language that said they wanted to do like a clearinghouse with like a professional services firm whereby the deals would go to them. I'm like, how you gonna pick the firm And hell no. No, no, no. Because you trying to enrich somebody that you know. No. So they didn't do that. So when they decided to do this commission thing, why would you make Nick? I wonder much he get paid for that. Because it ain't no volunteer position. He gonna get paid for that. That's probably better than coaching because he just get to do his job and go home. But that's interesting. I wonder who else is on it. Nick Saban is leading the commission. What? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? President, it said officiating director and NCAA President Baker should protect the athletes from cheating, possibly injury, which put players' safety and likelihood. Yeah, I don't know about that. It says, how's everybody? Hey, Salafi. Okay, so we know who's on the commission. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this go down. Nick Saban was the highest paid coach. How much? 19 million? 96 million? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, he's gonna make some money right now too. This gonna be interesting. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about should do a heavy motion. And we're not talking about heavy motion, that's just the title. We're talking about what that means. But then I think we might bump that to another one because I can do that Monday. We're gonna talk about these quarterbacks and what I unearthed about 17 to 32. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you y'all so much for hanging out with me. I'm glad we had this conversation. A lot of people had questions, and a lot is going. What did it say? Something about whatever that means. So that means that a lot of this is going to be worked out as it goes because they're going to experience some hiccups. They're going to have some fights. They're going to be some lawsuits. Again, this only affects the Power Five, so I want to see how HBCUs and Notre Dame and the other two schools, somebody going to a conference, but the two independents, how they feel about it. They might be like, good, because I don't want to be bothered with that anyway. I want to see how many schools opt in or out, roster limits and scholarships, how many opt in to pay their students directly. How does this affect the $56 million roster, the $20 million roster? What the Power Five conferences decide upon, or the percentages, which is the cap. And is the cap inclusive of where the boosters come in at, right? And that kind of stuff. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. We'll be back to talk about this as breaking news occur. I'm not going to look at it every day, but if something comes out about it, an issue comes up, or the first problem comes up with the commission, or who's on the commission, we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about it. All right. So thank y'all. Have a good night. Good night. We'll be back tomorrow. It said the real smoke in the room, Saban, Crimson Tide, mascot. Right. Exactly. This is going to be interesting. Thank you. It said, Queen, thank you for being real. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said. They told me to bust out my AP. Perfect timing. Good night.